are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
10, 5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5, to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Oh, was this one a close one in week 2 of the 2025 season? The Cowboys score 40 points for the first time since late in 23, but they get it done in overtime. A 46-yard game-winning field goal from Brandon Aubrey gives Cowboys their first win of the season and takes down an NFC East rival in the New York Giants in the process. Welcome into Cowboys Game Night here from the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco alongside Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans. Plenty to break down in this one, but let's just start with the fact that the Cowboys never quit. There were penalties. There were some big plays from the New York Giants at the same time. It was a wild back and forth affair. We'll look at the highlights in a moment, but your thoughts after the Cowboys get their first win.
There's a lot to digest here, Kyle, but at the end of the day, the Cowboys won the ultimate goal, and that was going out there and getting a W. They won the ball game no matter what the faults were, no matter how many positive things they did. They got the W, and that's all you're trying to get to at the end of the game. They'll go back and they'll correct a lot of the things that we'll address, obviously, in this show, but ultimately, they walked away with what they needed.
Let's take a look at how it happened. The Cowboys have dominated the series against the New York Giants as of late, but they haven't done it against Russell Wilson. His second road game of the campaign with the New York Giants, but his first against Dak Prescott, who hasn't lost against the Giants since his rookie season. Russell Wilson will get things started early after the Giants led 6-3 midway through the second quarter. Malik Neighbors gets open over the top of that Dallas secondary. Trayvon Diggs tried to punch it out, couldn't do so. Neighbors with a big-time touchdown grab, and the Giants led by 10 early, 13-3 the score. Now, the Cowboys would have an answer. Dak Prescott over the middle on a free play, got the guys to jump off sides. He fits it in a tight window to Kevontae Turpin. Cowboys down 13-10 at the break. Into the third quarter we go. Dallas gets the run game going. Javonte Williams bounding off of defenders. He reaches for the goal line. He's in his third touchdown already on this 2025 season. Cowboys with the lead going into the fourth. Both teams trading some field goals, and then you got the Giants running with the rookie Cam Skattebo all the way down to the 1-yard line. He would clean his plate, and the Cowboys trail again, but not for long. Miles Sanders works into the end zone. This 4-yard run puts Dallas back up 27-23. Back on offense. The big play worked early. It works late as Wan'Dale Robinson reels this one in from Russell Wilson. The Giants back on top 30-27. Buckle up, though. The final minute was crazy. It started with George Pickens, a 6-yard touchdown. His first as a Cowboy. Dallas up again. But Russell Wilson, with less than a minute to work, hits the moon ball over the top to Malik Neighbors in double coverage. Doesn't matter. He reels it in, and the Giants lead with 25 seconds left. But that was all Dallas needed to work into field goal range. 64 yards out, no problem for Brandon Aubrey, and we're going to overtime, tied at 37. In OT, both teams with early possessions, but the offenses sputtered. Dallas had the big blow, though, in that overtime period. Donovan Wilson goes up, grabs the interception. He comes down with it after missing early on the big play. He makes the big play, gives Dallas the ball back, and their third possession of the overtime period. Dak Prescott scrambles, puts Dallas in field goal range, and 46 yards out. This is nothing but a chip shot for Brandon Aubrey, his fourth field goal of the day. This one caps it off. 40-37 in overtime. Brian Shottenheimer gets his first win as a head coach in the NFL. The Jones family in the front office ecstatic after they take down an NFC East rival 40-37. Here are your final stats presented by Miller Lite. It's a big win for the Cowboys because it gets them their first of the year, plus it takes down a divisional foe. At the same time, it was not easy for the Cowboys, but we'll talk more about how this one unfolded with some film room when we come back.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Back here on Cowboys Game Night from the Globe Life Studios at the Star. He's Isaiah Stanback, a resident Super Bowl champion among our group and a former Dallas Cowboys player, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, doesn't matter. He did a lot of that. So you know what? We're going to utilize your film for the first time this year because the Cowboys get a win. I want you to tell me how the Cowboys got it done and some of the ups and the downs that we saw from this team in their 40-37 win over the Giants.
Well, how about we start with the fact that they ran for 135 yards on this defensive line of the New York Giants. Let's start with that one. How about we go over here and take a peek? All right, so we're going to roll over here to the screen so that you guys can have an understanding as to how this offensive line is blocking it up for Mr. Williams back here, who now has 3 touchdowns on a year through the first 2 games, had 4 touchdowns all last year, and a successful year for him out in Denver. But he's the Dallas Cowboys now. So let's go ahead and play this thing through. I want you guys to have an understanding of the blocking scheme. Let's go ahead and run it so you can see the motion come across the formation and pause. Right now, right off the back, your new man, Big 73, is working his way up. The money man, he's going to work up and looking for any color, okay? Anything that presents itself, he is going to get in the way of it, okay? Also, you have Jalen Tolbert, who's your big-time blocking receiver, going to come up, and he's going to try to get a kick out. Backside, you got a seal. You got Cooper Beebe doing his thing. Booker's in there doing his thing. And now this linebacker is looking to try to free flow. And again, he's probably going to get caught up in the wash here as these guys are blocking it up. Watch how this lays out. Boom, boom, boom. Pause it right there. Okay, so now as you guys see, everybody has their man. Okay, but who is uncovered in this particular play? This safety back here. You know who's responsible for that safety? Well, there's a dude by the name of Mr. Javonte Williams, and that is the guy they're always going to leave for the running back. As he gets through all the wash, whoop, sorry, you can't get me. Neither can your comrade. I'm going to tote this thing all the way to the house. Everybody did their job in terms of the blocking scheme. The one man that Javonte Williams was responsible for, guess what he did? He took care of business, ended up with 6 points.
Now, the run game was certainly significant. Both teams had some success throwing the football around a little bit in this game. Let's start with this big completion to CeeDee Lamb. Really, it was the one that was needed.
Yes.
After the offense sputtered in that first quarter, they needed a big play to Lamb, especially after he put the pressure on himself after the 4 drops last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a number of reasons why this play worked out. Now, we're all accustomed to seeing CeeDee Lamb run across the formation, but it doesn't just happen by itself. There's a number of things that has to take place, and I'm going to highlight just a few of them. Let's go ahead and play it through a little bit so that I can get to the main man that I want to talk about. Pause it right there. Mr. Cooper Beebe. Mr. Cooper Beebe right in the middle. What is he doing? Cooper Beebe is blocking down. Seemingly everybody is. All right, Schoonmaker, Terrence Steele, Booker, all right, Beebe's kicking in right there, and then you got Tyler Smith, and even Guyton's going backside. But if Guyton's going backside, then who has this guy right here? This defensive end. He's going to be a free runner, right? Absolutely, he's going to be a free runner. Now, who is going to be responsible? Let's play it through a little bit more. Okay, Cooper Beebe. Cooper Beebe says, I see you. I'm going to peel back and get a big-time block. What does that now allow? Pause it right there. Cooper Beebe's on his man, kicking out. There's a whole wall of linemen right here. We have a wall here. So what does that allow for Dak Prescott to now do? He can now see down the field. And if he can see down the field, then he can see the fact that his receiver, who is the man right here, Mr. CeeDee Lamb, is facing single high coverage. And versus single high coverage, if he runs an over route with the outside defender, there's nobody that can get by him. There's a guy that's underneath, Karake for the New York Giants. That's a perfect ball that is thrown by Dak Prescott. When you have single high coverage versus outside coverage with CeeDee Lamb in the slot and great blocking at the offensive line position, it equates to big plays down the field.
That was a great play overall and schemed up great on the offensive side of the football as well. And when we come back here on Cowboys Game Night, we're going to hear from the offensive play caller as the Cowboys get it done. Brian Schottenheimer, his first win as head coach in the National Football League. And it comes in a classic, a 40-37 win in overtime. More to come right after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Back here on Cowboys Game Night as the Cowboys get a win 40-37 over the New York Giants. Brian Schottenheimer, a winner for the first time as a head coach. Here's what he had to say at the podium at AT&T Stadium.
How you doing? You guys ready? No,
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Your emotions after getting your first win?
It was really good coming off the field. And then when Dak presented me, he and Jerry presented me with the game ball, that was pretty special for me. cool way to win your first game. You know, you'll remember it forever. But the words that Dak and the players said to me after the game is why it's so special. It's I expect the first of many. But I'll remember this one forever because of the fight of these guys, the way they didn't quit. They just kept believing. You know, we always say give yourself a chance in the fourth quarter. I guess we had to go a little longer tonight, but we found a way to do it. And very, very special. But so proud of those young men, man. You talk about pro football and the ups and downs and the high lows and giving up big bombs, and then you got to go back out there. And some of the situational stuff we did was just incredible. What can I say about Brandon Aubrey? I mean, just, you know, 4 field goals, 51, 44, 64. Would have been good from 70, and then the walk-off 46-yard kick. Yeah, so proud of those young men. The hard work that they've done. This is about them. This isn't about me. It's about them, and I'm just so blessed to be their head coach.
When you walked off, it looked like you were blowing a kiss. Were you assuming having a little special moment for your dad there before you walked off the field?
Yeah, so my family was up in the box. I was blowing them a kiss. I was talking to my dad as well, and how about this? My mom on Friday afternoon went to the airport, fell in the airport, broke her arm. So, Mom, I love you. I know you're watching. I know you're proud, but kind of stinks she wasn't here for it. But I know she took one for the team, and she said, "Hey, I'll be all right. I'll take my meds and be ready to go." Look at this guy. Thank you, Tad.
Clarence Dale, unless your mom followed in the airport, not coming here, not being able to be here for your first game, that they kind of give you any bad juju, like, dang, Mom's not going to be here. What is that?
Well, we've had a lot of things this week. I mean, I don't know how deep you guys want to go. I had my dogs got bit by snakes. That was a big vet bill. Shout out to wherever we went. They got not one but two got bit by snakes, and then my mom calls me on Friday afternoon when I'm leaving the office and from the ER. She's got her hand in traction from a compression fracture. So I figured something had to flip into good because this has been a crazy week. And but man, I'm such a blessed man. My family, but those guys in the locker room, man, that is my family too. And I love those guys, and I'm so proud of them.
Brian Shottenheimer gets the win over the Giants. The Cowboys had some big names make some big plays. Well, they just signed a big name. Who's making their way to Dallas this week? We'll hear right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
It's a big win for the Dallas Cowboys, not only because it's their first of 2025, but it's the first following a number of moves this offseason for this Cowboys front office. Let's hear from the head man of that front office, the owner, GM, President Jerry Jones.
Brian Schottenheimer has some easier wins as he goes forward?
Oh, I do. But he'll never have a chance to show if he can handle pressure or cracks under pressure any better than he did out there today. I thought he held up pretty good.
Do you feel an urgency to get more pass rush?
Well, we just signed, while we were here today, we just signed another pass rusher. But we're playing it pretty straight. We're rushing forward. And so
what's the corresponding
announcement on that? We signed him during the game. Yeah. So, but the point is that we were playing it pretty heads up. We were rushing forward most of the time, and you're playing a quarterback that can really drop that ball in there. So we thought the best way to handle this thing was to try to cover him. We weren't correct. And so who's ever got him to play, and if we play him again, how we were trying to pass defense was suspect.
So you completed the Clowney deal?
It's been completed, yes.
How can Clowney help you guys?
Well, he'll add some he's has been an outstanding player, and he'll add some real depth and some, he's very credible, and he'll help us. It's the kind of thing that we will continue to do. It's a lot of the reason we handle our roster the way we handle it, so we do these kinds of things.
Were we trying to get him out there for overtime?
If it had been dressed out, I would have dressed out myself if I thought it would help in that game. Boy, I didn't know how many more of those we were going. Now my understanding is that the overtime's over at the half, isn't it? Is there a limit on the overtime?
Yeah. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah.
So that's what.
I thought you were playing for a tie.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
1 year deal on Clowney?
No, real talk.
Oh, not a one-year deal. Sound the breaking news alarms. Jadeveon Clowney is now signed as part of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, since they do have a full 53-man roster, the corresponding move has not been official yet, nor has the signing been made official yet. But a former first overall pick with the Texans just about a decade ago, played for college coach Steve Spurrier, who also happened to coach head coach Brian Schottenheimer as well. Clowney has made an impact over the last few years with a number of teams. He's actually been a part of 5 teams over the last 6 years. Isaiah, when you see this signing, what's the number one thing that comes to mind?
Depth. I mean, you talk about Jadeveon Clowney and what he presents. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, man, he's 32 years old. He's been around the league too long. Let me help you understand. Yes, you might have been bouncing around the last few years, but let's talk about the last few years. He's played for Carolina. He's played for the Baltimore Ravens. In those last 2 years, this man has 15 sacks. In the last 2 years. Right, so he's still productive. Oh, also, if you don't get a sack, are you productive? Okay, just maybe 30 hits on a quarterback in the last 2 years. So this dude is still productive. Obviously, you had a vacant spot by making a trade for one of the most dominant DNs in the league. You need to elicit some type of pass rush. You still have some young guys that are still figuring out their way. Dante Fowler Jr. hasn't stepped up in the way in which you had hoped early on. You had 1 sack last week. You had 3 sacks today. So you're looking to just get somebody else out there that they have to circle and be concerned about when they come up in their pass protection.
Yeah, you get to see some hits from guys like Houston, who stepped up in a big way. You've gotten to see some big-time influence from the interior of that defensive line. Jadeveon Clowney's not going to be the guy that takes you over the top and makes you a dominant edge-rushing class.
But you better respect him.
But it does bring another level to this defense and definitely some depth on that side of the ball. So Jadeveon Clowney, officially but not officially, a Dallas Cowboy. We'll talk more about it throughout the week. When we come back, Isaiah Stanback's going to give us his dog of the game as the Cowboys get the win over the Giants.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
40-37, the Cowboys win it in overtime in Week 2 over the New York Giants. They now move on to Week 3, take on those Chicago Bears, who come in at 0-2. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Youmans, our resident Washington Husky as well, the dog of the game. Hey, Washington's 3-0, by the way, in the college ranks. Give us your dog of the game. Who was the difference maker for this Cowboys team?
I'm going to go with the man who touches the ball every single play. And no, I'm not talking about Cooper Beebe. I am talking about Dakota Prescott. Threw the ball 52 times a day. And imagine throwing the ball 52 times and still having a 73% completion rate. This dude was able to dish the ball around. He was able to buy time in the pocket, utilizing his footwork. He was able to stretch that hamstring of his from last year, cross the line of scrimmage, and get some first downs. He kept Dallas in this game today. There was a lot of other contributors, but I think Dak was front and center.
So one more thing. You did mention Cooper Beebe there. There was a little bit more news. He was out of the locker room on crutches, and he had an ankle that was swollen up, according to the media that was on site at AT&T Stadium. So hopefully he's good to go. That's going to be a big loss up front for the Cowboys. Big key going into next week, taking on the Chicago Bears.
Clean up the penalties. Clean up the penalties. You cannot beat yourself. You know you're going to be going against a very angry Coach Johnson of the Chicago Bears. He's not going to want to start out 0-2, and he's going to bring out all the stops.
Well, one coach got their first win today as a head coach in the NFL. That was Brian Schottenheimer. Ben Johnson will look to do that next week for the Chicago Bears. That does it for us here on Cowboys Game Night. The Cowboys get the win 40-37 for our entire Dallas Cowboys crew. We'll see you next week with more from the Star in Frisco.